What's going on, crew? BigC90210, and I've got Slan the man back in the house. We've got the cameras the right way around, so when I look this way, he looks at look at
I don't know,
that.
I'm starting to get used to
Yeah. So we've got cameras the right way, and today we're here to talk about Project Slaanhatten. Woo!
at
Check
long
that
last.
shit. Look at that. So yeah, we've got a notepad of shit down here that we're going to read about what Project Slanhatten is.
Yep.
So to take it away, Mr. Slan.
Well, we're in the game anyway. We chose a nice scenic, something you probably won't have seen or recognised at all. So Project Slanhatten, what is it? This is Project Slanhatten. It's, well, at its core, it's a city. This is what we've got so far. This is the working concept map that Big C used in the last little sneak peek video. Basically, we're comfortable with the way things are going. It seems like a stable method of building so far. We've still got to get some tall buildings in and test placement like that, but zero console errors, so all's good so far. So after the little reveal video that we've done,
Yeah.
when we decided that it was, right, let's do it, we started hiring prefabs in. We've been in, had little build sessions where we've done it manually.
Yeah. Putting the details in.
Setting the foundation for the highway, getting the sewer in, starting to imagine the city being bigger than this, but we're just going to concentrate on a small section in the middle for now.
So the summary of what is Slanhatten is a custom city, practically 100% custom, as big as we need, expanding a whole cell as one prefab grid, which we'll come to in a bit, but not just yet. This is going to be a very, very, very large ongoing project.
This is ginormous.
Yeah. It's already a fucking monster.
It's the potential for it to be so much bigger, though. That's the main thing that you've really got to start to see. We're just coming over the hospitals here in all of these custom hub cells that we spoke about the last time that are filling up the wilderness, and there's about 12, 13 individual prefabs that are being used, and the only way currently to get them in is to make these cell rules where you would have just one of these hospital buildings. I think it's actually the one on the left is the custom hub.
Yep.
And it's 2,000 square meters of space, and that's the central point. That's the purpose of the cell, just to put that one building in.
So if you guys are imagining kind of like Navezgane, we'll say Navezgane, how big does this city compare to Navezgane in terms of size?
I think it's approximate. If we stick to this sort of outline, we do have plans for the southwest quarter as well, but this is just more to show, which we'll talk about in a bit, the different stages that we've went through to sort of build the city. But basically, this is the area that we're going to focus on. This is going to form the backbone of the project itself.
Yeah.
Once this is in a playable, and I say playable, not necessarily complete, once it's playable, this whole sort of area, it'll be populated to some degree, little bits of trees, forests, the things that we'll go through now as we're flying through.
Yeah, the details.
Yeah, but at the minute, I'm trying to get the big things like the shopping mall, which you can see here, in the hospitals. I've used both buildings to build a little hub within a city.
Right.
So, you break your leg, you don't have to get a taxi and a £45 fare to go and get a fucking plaster put on it, You just nip around the corner, go to the local doctors or into the hospital.
So, the next question, I suppose, is why? Why are we doing it like this?
Well, we've spoke a little bit there about the cell rule and the bigger prefabs, of which this is another one, where they are really good builds, but you need all of these things in a city, you know. So as you can start to see now, there's still some large sections of bare area, but even simple things like this being raised up a different tier, it's adding another dimension.
Oh, definitely.
You're not just running into a flat hub, I envision a proper road tunnel, an actual junction. This is the fringe of where you're starting to meet wilderness. It might flow out into trees. Further down the line, it could be developed into a lesser housing project like your Deersville and things like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of room for people not just to add things to it and they can get in and
Just fly back to that Mag 10 a sec. I mean, you guys have probably seen the shot more before, as well as the Mag 10. But as you can see by here, it's kind of like by doing it this way, it integrates so nicely with each other. You know what I mean? It sits really, really nicely.
every single block in the map in the initial central area is part of one massive giant prefab grid, and then it's basically dissected into pieces and
Right.
placed side by side. So that's kind of how we get it all together. So I mean, technically speaking, it's I think at the minute 56 prefabs which are all linked together, all set piece squares, all designed to mesh like this with a combination of the custom hub roads. So we're still going to get loot generating. Hopefully in Alpha 13 we'll get the new car blocks spawning on there.
Yep, yep.
It's, I think at the minute, the only place the zombies are going to come in, because entities and things like that, when the map's ready to be released, I kind of see we'll do a final pass, we'll have a look, everything's fine and it's working. We'll get the entities in there. We'll make hotspots.
Cool.
We'll say, right, this side of the bridge might be a trigger for a horde. This side might actually be a safe route, but we'll smash a couple of pieces off, and it's a bit more Super Mario where you've got, you're risking falling off. But naturally, you're not going to know that that's the safer route. You're going to have the hard option, or you're going to have the easy option, and we can just add little things like that all around.
So cool. Well, I'll tell you what, let's lower it down a little bit so the viewers at home can
Right,
have a little bit.
This is what's being coined at the minute is Uptown, and other than the cheesy name, the idea is just to increase the elevation a bit, get it up there, but make it tasteful. Make good use of the space in between. So I mean, this is the transition period. Obviously, we've got the highway takes up quite a big bit of space.
But either way, we'll talk about that later. But
we've got to stop by this little area, though. I mean,
what we got going down here?
Because I mean, the general way is you make your prefab, you hand the TTS over to Magoli, he gets it into the combo pack, and you get this 45 by 45 square in your map, and there's not much else going on. So I mean, we took Magoli's little stripper building.
We love your stripper building, by the way, Magoli. It's fucking awesome.
We wanted, where would the poverty stricken and the crack whores hang out, and we decided Magoli's stripper club was the place.
I'll tell you what, just drop down to ground height, and we'll actually walk through here as a paying customer. Well, the first thing you know, right, if you ever been to a strip joint, is that there's always a queue. I mean, I've never been to a strip joint if the girlfriend's watching, but yeah. So if you ever been to a strip joint, you know there's a queue. So this is kind of, we've made it a nice little queue here for when we get in. What we got down the sides there. So if any of you guys have ever been to Amsterdam,
there's lots of coffee shops.
Yeah, there's lots of coffee shops, but there's also a nice little district where you have windows where you can go and look through the windows and you can buy certain services. So yeah, that one's occupied.
Suspicious.
You're a pervert. Stay away. Stop looking in there. So yeah, we've kind of built a nice little area down there.
This is a good example of why designing the map kind of like this, where you can make use of every block. It means there's no stone left unturned. I mean, little details like this you could tie together in. I mean, you've done the trucks and stuff, which aren't actually on here now, but I mean, they were about 20 minutes, half an hour.
I mean, even if you look around the back of the strip joint, just kind of like going around there, you can see where the guys would take out the trash. You've got your kind of dingy alleys and stuff like that. Even the petrol station, let's have a quick look around there. I mean, there is actually a more modern version of this out, but you can see there's refuse.
Yeah, they have their own area, which, you would imagine a building like that would.
Yeah.
Which you wouldn't normally get in a city.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I mean, Random Gen is awesome, but you wouldn't ever get this kind of living, breathing detail. I mean, there's so many little scenarios where you come across a dead body and you can see where someone's burst through a window or something like that. There's tons of little individual scenarios that tell the story of how this came about.
We're keeping the density, the urban survival thing is what we've championed really since the beginning of deciding that we were going to start modern.
There's my McDonald's is there.
McDonald's.
So before we get too sidetracked, let's talk about why. And when I say why, we've covered a little bit of why, but so this is a modular city, right? I mean, you were talking before about this is on a grid.
Yeah.
So what does that mean, being a modular city?
If there'll be different stages of builders out there. Some people like me have far too much time on their hands and just like to sink the teeth into huge projects. Some people like to make little prefabs. Some people like to make McDonald's. You know,
I like making McDonald's.
everybody to some extent, when you get into a game like this, has got to have a little bit of passion for building.
Yeah.
And you know, the guy who's just learning how to use Hal's editor.
Shout outs to Hal.
Shout outs to Hal.
None of this would be possible without
not
your
a
editor.
single piece. Not a single piece. But for people who think the editor's a little bit daunting and they just want to work on some simple little blocks, a lot of things like the highway are largely built out of section props where I've just tiled them in.
Right.
Things like the custom vehicles, maybe you come in and you picture this is your particular house, but when the zombies came, you weren't so stupid. You boarded the doors up, you boarded this up, and
Yeah.
you've reinforced it. And there's good examples of prefabs that have that built in. But I mean, what we have, especially with these houses, is they're there as you would expect them to be. They're just waiting for the crisis to show its effects.
Yeah.
You know, to see what's happened. And these are the little changes that people can do. So the modular section, when it is actually released, I'm going to make a separate mixer where people with the intention of editing can load up a different game that'll only include a small section of the city that you want to work on.
So people could potentially develop their own small area. Maybe even if there's an area in the game that they would prefer to be something else, they could take that piece and then put whatever they wanted on it.
People who are making particularly big prefabs are going to love this type of system because you can basically take an area and then you can look at that whole area. You're not just putting something against a road that's there.
Yeah.
You can look at it and think, well, actually, Lasman keeps talking about his prison and how he always seen it as spawning in the forest biome and it should be in forest. And I was kind of saying, even if the city was to spawn in the desert biome, we could still just take a bit of area around the prison and make forest.
Yeah,
we'll grass it off. We'll make the forest. We'll give it what you think it should have. We'll get it in there.
Give it its home so it fits.
And then we'll divide that area up. You'll work out what sort of parts of the grid it would go into.
Yeah.
And just load the city up, paste it in, and extract it in the pieces.
Right. Okay.
And now,
I get it.
if you need to extend the hub roads, that's all doable in the code.
Let's have a look at that to the side. Ooh, that looks very nice indeed. So what you're saying is as well, because I mean, probably a lot of people will be watching this, and there'll be certain builders who've made gigantic things. I mean, there was a stadium that we've seen quite recently, right? That was fucking awesome.
Loaf Dog exploded onto the scene.
Loaf Dog!
With a couple of awesome videos, really good videos. As soon as I'd seen, I didn't even look at the video initially. I didn't download nothing. I seen the screenshot, the first screenshot, and I was like, right, I've got a home for that. I knew exactly where it was going to go. And I have actually tested placing it. But what I think I'm going to do is maybe make a short video of just how I would put a prefab that sort of size into the city.
Right.
Because I'm not ready to release the project proper as let's everybody get the teeth stuck into it. It's more of a heads up. This is the way I'm kind of thinking. This is... Oh.
Keep going. It's fine. I think we've just alt and tabbed. 7 days, don't crash on me now, you bitch! That's okay. We can carry... Well, we'll tell you what, we can carry on talking. So we've got... Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
It was
so, I mean, like, we're not ready to release it as a project proper because what I found in planning is I initially said, right, I'll conquer all of the big prefabs. I'll do this district. I'll make this here. I'll make that there. But now that we're taking a bit more time with the space, just putting a bit of distance between the highway instead of having like touching buildings and adding that little alleyway, sectioning little residential areas off, all these little things are really... So, I mean, this doesn't even compare to the vanilla game, the way that the vanilla spawns the cities in.
So this is, I mean, people are going to be looking at this saying, hold on a minute, I've seen that prefab before. You guys didn't make that prefab. And it's of course we didn't make all of these prefabs. We're not here to wave our willies at the prefabs. I mean, some of the prefabs are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But the guys who made the original prefabs get the credit for this kind of thing.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, the bridge itself was purely inspired in... to some part city. Used from Piquero's slum, right?
Yeah, the Piquero's slum. I mean, what I initially done was extracted the full highway, made about 6 or 7 sectional pieces, experimenting with different heights. You can see where we built the bridge, these sort of pillars. I mean, the combo pack itself, there's a lot of things that are already done, and they're done to a quality that we can use.
I just go back around there. I just seen a dead guy in a mattress. There we go. I just seen him there at the corner of the eye. So, what's around the corner? What's around the corner? Oh, there we go. So you see that there are little tales of woe.
So I mean, like,
dotted around.
The up and coming prefabbers who want to experiment can do the little details. The city will be covered to a certain level of detail, so that the areas that get left out, the areas that aren't so popular to edit or just get forgotten about, are still to some degree, they fit in, they look reasonably okay.
Yeah.
But back to the section and prefabs and stuff, this actual bridge section here, I mean, you can see all the different pieces that were used, you know. I mean, like I say, the main sort of struts.
The thing is, I mean, kind of pull back a little bit. If you imagine this is going to have water running through it, right?
Yeah, this is the open sewer. The plan is an open sewer. This will be the entrance into. We're kind of going halfway on what we had. We'll have a more organised, a more thought out pattern to the sewer pipes. They'll be where you would expect them, instead of just having a generic this square tile underneath the whole city.
Right. So I mean, I haven't obviously seen Alpha 13, but I've seen the video of the demonstration of water flowing. Now, if you imagine that kind of water flowing through this,
what's going to be interesting, especially from how good things look, is if the flowing water animation isn't that graphically intense and isn't going to cause too many frames per second drops. What I imagine here, and I deliberately left these in because this still needs concreted, it's still heavily concept, the sewer bit. But I mean, if you could picture this as a large red pipe coming out, you would use that to enter the sewer system. That's going to loosely follow the road grid. Manholes in the road. Instead of we could still have the storm drains.
Did you say manholes?
Manholes.
That's one of the most requested things. I tell you what. Why don't we just while we carry on talking, throw a mini bike together and just have a little ride around, just so people can see what it's like from kind of like person height. Yeah,
but just to finish off about the flowing water, though, I mean, if you picture the tunnel obviously coming out, and this is the main way. Initially, it'll just be a dead end tunnel built to look nice. But this is the point of the project. You can build things to make them playable, and then make it a work in progress. Get bored of one thing, just, finish it off, get it to the point where we can use it, and then just, take a break, go and work on something else. But can you imagine the water flowing out? The animation of the water just constantly spilling out the sewers into the river, flowing down the sewer system.
Sleeper zombies in the water coming out, shit like that. I mean, you guys got to see in fucking... Is the Day of the Dead? Which is the one where they come out the water again? It's not Dawn of the Dead, it's the one after that. Land of the Dead.
There's that many of the dead.
It's something of the dead where they come out the water. So while he throws a mini bike together, so this whole project so far has been a massive butchering of existing prefabs, fuck me, you've made a load. You've made an absolute ton, and then putting it together, really.
A lot of what I've done, because, like I say, a lot of buildings are largely perfectly fine. It's just the building, though. People don't really think about how it sits into the map, and not through no fault of their own. I mean, through the current system, a lot of the time, I think up until recently, we were just fucking happy to be able to get the prefabs in the first place, It was like, oh my god, we'll get the big ones.
I can build a house, fuck me. It's like, you made a house. Everybody who's ever made a prefab has made a prefab. They were like, fuck me, this is awesome. I made something, they put it in the game, and then it stands out like a sore thumb. It's kind of like, who was it who made those prefabs, the 3 houses together? We were just looking at them before.
Lasman, the brownstone houses.
Yeah, the brownstone. Lasman, fucking lot of love for Lasman. It's people like Lasman who first started making prefabs that, like, when they're in the city environment and when they're in the random gen, they actually fit. So really, what we're looking for is to take that to the next level and not just have it so it fits, but have it so that it helps tell the story of the city.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can do with the custom city blocks. And what I found quite annoying...
Your bike's got no wheels on it, man.
I know, I just realised.
It's never going to go far with no wheels.
Well, what was quite annoying, though, is, like, when you consider working on the map and progressing all the way through to release, I mean, we've still got about, 3/4 to a year
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, if 13's anything to go by, I dread to think how long we've got.
Yeah.
To be honest, though, I mean, if they'd released 13, say 2 months ago at Halloween when they said, or a month ago at Halloween when they said they were going to, none of this would have been done.
Yeah.
We would have been playing 13 and, you know, boggling around new systems. But now I have a plan that I think is going to, providing I get the tall buildings in, fine, it's going to keep me content until it gets released. And I cannot wait to get this initial area done, just to see what the community are going to do to it as well. Because, like I say, initially all I'm doing is doing the terraforming, getting the hills set, deciding, setting things like the roads, the highway, working out where the train tracks are going to go, and then building around them systems, setting what I would consider to be a reasonable plan, so that when it does get released, even if people go crazy and start throwing all sorts of wild stuff at it, it's still going to have that little bit of control where I've kind of defined the way certain things are going to have to be done.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, the thing is, it's like, depending on how much someone wants to customize it, you know? It's gas. There will be a large majority who just go, holy shit, this is like a fucking Grand Theft Auto sized city in 7 Days to Die.
Oh, Holland does it.
Fucking let me at it, you know?
God mode off.
God mode off, get on the bike.
Oh my god.
Get some pants.
Right, so I'll just wait. Well, we don't have slip roads yet, but I do have slip roads ready, or the foundations of what will be slip roads, so that there's no easy transition from the highway down onto road level. But I mean, you'll get an idea just from what we can see.
Is it F for light? Hey!
But I mean, point to point, who needs Need for Speed? You know what I mean? Does Need for Speed have...
Does Need for Speed have arse cheeks?
Semi-naked fucking men with thongs on.
So at the minute you've just drove out of downtown and kind of you're driving around the perimeter of uptown.
Yeah. So we'll have we've just passed the hospital.
Yeah.
This would take me into the this is the shopping mall, and like I say, the little things like cutting in a proper path.
Curbs as well.
You know, the mall came with this little section of road, so you work around things like that.
Yeah.
On this side, I'll extend the car park right out, and we'll make a hub within the city of the prefab. You know. And this is the thing I want people who are making the big prefabs to consider is, don't just picture the building. I mean, where is the building? Is it sitting in a street? Is it sitting on a corner somewhere? Is it standalone in the middle of a fuck-off massive car park? Or, I mean, the detail, the difference the extra little details make, which I'm sure you have to agree to a certain extent. I mean, the layout in that itself might not be to everybody's taste, but when you look at how good it looks.
To be honest, I mean, go from here to downtown, and let's just have like a little rustle through downtown at street level.
Yeah, downtown's there.
I mean, to be honest, it's starting to come on to nighttime, and downtown looks fucking awesome of a nighttime. That was just for you guys who've seen the original video of the teaser. That is the bit where I'm kind of flying along, and then it switches to nighttime. So all of this is going to be a proper.
Yeah, I see there's just nice little road tunnel.
Yeah.
It stops you from just running into the east side of the city in a straight line, straight through it and out of the west. You're going to hit walls, you're going to hit sections. You might see something on the horizon that you want to actually run to, but then think, well, actually, I entered the city and got straight onto the highway. How do I even get down there?
Yeah.
You know, and then when you get down there, you realise, well, actually, there's the wall. I can't climb it. I don't have nothing to jump on. Where are the ladders? And it's pushing people out to explore.
I mean, what's cool is as well is the bridge itself, plus as well the size of the roads that you've made. You've almost made them like almost dual carriageway style.
Yeah. What way? Because of the way that the hub code works.
For you Americans, it's highway.
Highway.
Dual carriageway.
Tomato sauce.
Tomato. You say tomato, I say fuck you. But
streets. I mean proper streets.
I mean proper streets. The thing is as well. Obviously, when 13 drops, and one of the big changes, well, it's not a big change, but it's a considerable change, is cars will be blocks. So it'll be nice to see cars strewn all over the place, especially on the bridge if there's been collapses or
generally
things
speaking,
like that.
When you have something that looks like an actual road within the city, it's an actual coded in road. So like I say, you can see the rubbish, and I mean some bits of rubbish end up being exported with the prefab itself.
Yeah.
But a lot of the junk that you see on the road is just spawned in on the roads loot.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's where the zombies come from as well, because
there's a rabbit! Don't kill the rabbit!
I done that when Magoli came on for a little video tour the other day on Steam, and I took 5 minutes out to stop and executed the edge with him there. Just had to be done. It was interfering.
You get on the train tracks from
We can get to the train alleyways. I mean, it's these little things that really.
It is. It's fucking awesome. I mean, in the teaser video that I made, what's that? Is that an underground car park?
Well, this building I think is initially a restaurant, and because of when I was doing the concept plan, I was throwing buildings down randomly, and I thought, oh, we'll get a bit of train station and there, and then I hit a building that I'd exported after I'd started putting the train tracks in, so
right.
It became a combo building restaurant station.
I like it. Well, mind you,
it has a lovely little underground garage, so I mean,
most train stations nowadays do have little restaurants and shit like that attached
yeah,
to them.
yeah. Well, that's the thing with my old city blocks. The stations weren't the grandest, and now I can take things like the subway station that's in the Compo Pack, give it a proper home, give it a better upstairs area, and then we'll actually use his train tracks as the sort of tile that we'll build the rest of the tunnels out of. When we come out onto the land, we have our own train tracks. There is a way down here somewhere. I think it's near the.
So I'm guessing, right, most people have probably watched this video up to now and went, "You two are a pair of annoying cunts." However, I like what you're doing. I smell what you're stepping in. I've made some prefabs. What should I do?
There's no. Say this very loosely. I think. Wait, Hot Rod I know was talking about a 311 by 311. I don't remember off the top of my head how big the Picaro slum is, but I would like to say size isn't an issue.
Right.
And more importantly, build things how you want to build. Don't just make it the prefab itself. Make the area around it as well. If there's important details that need added to the outside, build them.
Yeah.
We can accommodate all of it. But unfortunately, I mean, you can see from the size of the map, in about 6 weeks, 2 of which were mostly just sitting thinking about it, we have produced a lot. I mean, there's a huge amount of work's went into it. All of these greyed out tiles here have roads cut, all the paths are trimmed in,
right.
The prefabs are already sectioned and gridded and are literally ready to be built up and then prefabbed, or they're ready to just have the factories and whatever we're going to put down there.
Yeah, yeah.
But the stadium that we mentioned earlier, I think, is probably going to go around this way.
Is that Loaf again, is it?
Yeah, Loaf Dogs.
Loaf Dog! By the way, I'm your 10th subscriber. I did put that on your YouTube channel, so you best make another videos for your fucking celebratory 10th subscriber video.
You owe us 7 milestone videos at least.
Yeah. Each one of them, you need to produce a prefab that's bigger than the last and better.
And yes, it is Slaan. You did say it right.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to laugh when I seen that. But is there anything else we really want to?
Well, it's funny actually. I just want to round up you talking about prefabs there, because it's kind of, people might see this, they might go, "Oh, I want to be involved. I made you a prefab of a fucking prostitute's toilet. I wanted to be in the game."
It's business as usual, because you've got to think we can take a lot of the hubs out of the Compo Pack that are making quite crappy sort of random hubs for the wilderness, which is doing the Compo Pack a justice in a way. But I'm taking things from the Compo Pack, so I mean, make your prefabs and give them to Magoli and get them in there.
Yeah.
Give as many people access to them as possible, because the more people that are messing around with this type of stuff, variety is the spice of life.
Well, I mean, what's nice about the community is the community glued together by many people, but mainly Magoli for the Compo Pack, is that the culture that we used to have in let's have a little look around here. The culture that we used to have in 7 days was, I want to build a house that I want to fucking live in, and I'm going to spawn it in the game with 10 gun safes in the bottom, and you can go and fuck yourself. You know what I mean? But it's like,
he's done a good job of
Magoli has done a good job of fucking holding everyone back and saying, look, we don't want a fucking bomb-proof fucking nuclear bunker. Well, we might do, but we don't want it full of gun safes. You know what I mean? We want prefabs that are balanced. They've got a nice amount of loot. And to be honest, all you and myself are doing for this is taking those prefabs that are nice, that they fit in, like what you were saying, they've been designed to fit in a particular area or spot,
well, like
and
I say,
integrating it.
I intend to do a short video. It was getting a Loaf Dog Stadium in there, just to give an example of how you can take a big prefab that really at the minute wouldn't normally be able to be used outside of being spawned as a custom hub.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, do you stitch a few custom hubs together to make something reasonable to populate the cell? And then it was like, well, why don't I just make a big hub with these things in? And then it was, well, why don't I just build the city and put these things and just build the city like this?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is as well, it's like, don't get me wrong, Loaf Dog, your stadium is fucking awesome. But it's like, when the whole idea of this is, it's not going to have a full necessary backstory. We don't know that yet. We haven't thought about that yet. But, well, there we go, it will. But the main thing is that when you're playing this game, you'll be going, oh shit, this little area tells a story. This wall's been torn down. You know what I mean? The scenario tells a story.
You can kind of not say exactly what had happened, but you get an idea.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, look at that poor fucker, he didn't even make it out of the toilet.
Yeah, there you go. But what I'm saying is, though, is that you have to kind of, well, not necessarily you guys have to, but we are taking this into the mentality of designing a prefab. So as an example with the stadium is fucking amazing. It's like a textbook stadium that's in perfect condition, and it doesn't quite tell a story about what happened in the stadium, if you guys get me.
When the crisis happened, where was the 800 staff?
Yeah.
What were they doing?
You know, what was happening? Is they flipped over chairs? Is their rooms boarded up with people in?
But
you know what I mean? You want it to tell a story.
Once the project gets up and running properly, when we can get this base map sort of finalised and get it out there, that's when I'm going to say to people, you know, because it's a lot of work.
Oh, I definitely.
The test, with Alpha 13 server that we were showing off, that city on its own is 256 prefabs, and even when you factor in losing about 25% for the area that we've designated for sewers and river, we're still going to have more than 256 prefabs because the other areas are being built up with city density in mind, you know, and they're going exactly where I think they should go, where we think they should go, and people will be welcome to come in and edit a little bit of the map.
Yeah.
To add a prefab into the combo pack, which might then get used, or make a bunch of different houses to a theme that you could build a couple of streets out of, and we'll get another new little district walled off. We'll use up another big POI prefab to build up the area, and that's kind of how I see it expanding.
So what you've just probably said there is that if someone was interested in probably contributing to this, the first stage would not be to come to us. The first stage is get your prefab in the combo pack, and at least that way it's being kind of community certified that it's not OP and it does kind of fit the bill, right?
I would recommend any prefabs that you make should go to the combo pack anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Just to give back.
It's too useful of a resource now for people just to start winging them all over. I mean, I rely on it. I fall back on it for everything. I keep forgetting that I don't have some funky sewer system or nothing to show off. I just have a very dirtily cut concrete friggin'. Not even concrete, just stone.
Okay, it still looks cool. But go back somewhere where it's where the viewers at home, because they've never seen all this before. They're like, "You've got awesome prefabs and you're showing me underground." Go back to where it's nice. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much going to be it for this video. So what do you envision coming up for the next video?
Well, like I say, I want to get the short video out for Loaf, and I don't know.
Oh.
I've got another blog coming up which is going to look at how I've built up the Uptown area in more detail. It'll look at things like the hospital hub and that you can see now.
Yeah, that's actually one more important thing to stress. Don't forget, these are kind of like vlogs of this project, but there is on the website, links in the comment of this video, there is a blog where you guys can come on, you can comment, you can sort of like and subscribe, but you can join in with the discussion, throw your ideas in the pot, and we pick all the best ones, you know?
I mean, I'm trying to mash a project together that I can get people involved in, but before it can hit the sort of full-on community involvement stage, I've got to have a set amount done that's going to not just set the standard, but it's got to be ready and be usable.
Yeah.
From its first release. It doesn't have to be finished, but it has to be playable.
Well, you need to kind of set the mindset as well
Yeah,
of what's the goal. If everybody's got the same goal,
Right, the
then
other
it'll
thing
work
is
better.
when you're putting your name onto a project that you're putting together and you're largely using a lot of other people's stuff, then
Yeah.
there's a certain standard that I would like anybody using my work to maintain some sort of integrity and
Yeah.
you know, don't just shit all over it, which I've kind of been a little bit guilty of in the past. So I've only smashed about a third of the lights. I've left some of them in.
But hopefully the fun pimps will optimize lights, and that won't be a problem.
For all we get a lot of density in like these residential areas, they're not really like resource intensive prefabs. A lot of the bigger things, because of the space in between the highways or just the way that they're going to be placed about, it's breaking the city up. And so, I mean, the skyscraper district, when Loaf Dog gets these skyscrapers done,
Get your skyscrapers done because we want them.
I will speak to you, Loaf, I promise. I've already sent you a friend about on Steam,
Yeah.
but I will have to get you into a game and we'll chat prefab.
Well, we have a Mumble server, by the way, so there is if anybody wants to come on, everybody is more than welcome to come on Mumble and talk shit until I ban you.
Yeah.
So
Push the talk buttons or you will not last long.
Nobody is allowed on the Mumble server without push to talk. And if you've got screaming kids in the background, you know who you are. None of that either. And screaming girlfriends as well. Unless you're screaming in the right way, and then you're allowed. So yeah, I think we're going to wrap this video up now. One more thing, because a lot of you guys are probably going to be watching this and going, holy shit, this is amazing. But what about that city you guys showed us for the Alpha 13 server? That is still there, and that is still going to be the Alpha 13 city. You are not going to see this as the Alpha 13 on our live game server that everybody plays on. That is going to be the old school one where it's the
original one that we've done in the last video. That's what we're going to roll with, because I need to have at least one city released live to give people a chance to play through, because we've never actually had one going live.
Yeah,
the test server's been around for a while, but
so like I said, to reiterate before we wrap this up, the live server will have the massive city with the sewer system. That will all be on our Alpha 13 server, so make sure you guys come along. Right, I want to say goodbye from me and Slan the man.
Of what?
Can you think of anything else that you want to add before we shut this down?
Yes, loads. I could talk for absolutely fucking hours.
He could talk forever, but I'm not going to let him because it's going to be in another video and we're late for burgers.
Yeah.
So, from me and from Slan, we shall see you guys next time. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, tell your ma, and thanks for watching. And one other thing as well, when Alpha 13 drops, search BigC90210 in the server listings on Modded and get your arse in the PvP urban
survival.
Urban survival.
Irvin's a hardcore survivalist who likes city-based warfare.
Irvin is indeed. Hit it! See you guys next time.